Shabbat Shalom, L'chaim L'chaim. This week's Torah portion is Chukas in Israel. In Chutz La'aretz, it's Korach. However, the Torah portion of Chukas speaks about different laws, Chukim, and it focuses at the very beginning on the laws of the red heifer. The red heifer was a completely red cow used in a special purification process. There are also some very famous incidents that happen. For example, when Moshe strikes the rock to make water flow for the Jewish people, that's in this week's Torah portion, as well as the battles between the great Amorite kings Sichon and Og, that takes place, and the very famous incident of the plague of snakes that infested the Jewish people. And so Moshe was instructed to build this, it's not really a statue, it was a pole with a snake perched on it. And Hashem said that whoever is bitten by a snake should look at this pole with the snake on it, and they will remember Hashem, and they will be healed. And it wasn't just snake bites, it healed every ailment. And so, as expected, this eventually became a source of idolatry. Down the line, years later, people started looking at this as the thing that was curing them, and not Hashem. And so one of the great kings eventually destroyed it. And this is really what I want to focus on, is that the Pasuk says, you must not look at this image of the snake on the pole, you must gaze at it. And the language, to gaze at something was very interesting to me. And so I started to think about it. And I know that, I looked this up, and one very interesting thing is that two people, when they gaze into each other's eyes, psychology has shown that they foster trust with each other, and they foster a closeness and intimacy with each other. And it's very interesting because, as we know, the eyes are the windows of the soul, the windows to the soul. And so when you're looking at each other's eyes, you open up your soul to each other. But I wanted to focus on other things that we all know to be true. So for example, if you're looking around and you quickly, in a split second, catch a glimpse of something, it can be etched on your mind. And it's something that you just can't get out of your head. You saw it for a split second, and now it's there in your head. And so that's when you see something a very quick moment. But how much more so is it true when you stare intently at something for a long time? And Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan speaks about this in the beginning of his book, Kabbalah and Meditation, where he's focusing on what is meditation. And he tells you that if you picture in your mind a rose, and you start to describe and imagine every facet and every detail of this rose, the more you focus on it, which is exactly what meditation is, the more it opens up to you. And meditation is this act of focusing intensely on one thing. Typically, if you're doing it in your head, you're imagining, so your eyes are closed. But we see the same thing with the Hasidic sages who teach during Hanukkah that when we're lighting the Hanukkah candles, we must stare at the candles and see, in Chabad they say, what story will the candles tell you? But it's throughout all Hasidic sources to stare intently at these candles. And Ayala gave me a great, peirush, an explanation of something to add to this whole discussion, which is the Torah details the laws of kashrus. What are we ingesting? But it also details what we're looking at and what we're consuming through our eyes, through our ears, through even our smell. So here, when we focus on gaze, what are we gazing at throughout our days? Are we looking at holy things or unholy things? Because those are the things that are becoming etched in our mind. And whatever is on our mind is what we will start to think about, how we will start behaving. So just to end off, it reminded me of a friend of mine. In yeshiva, you see all kinds of different characters that come into your life, some for a week and some for years. And this one guy showed up for a very short time, and he was studying the Zohar. And so I went up to him, I said, do you know how to read Aramaic? And he said, no, I don't. So I said, why are you reading the Zohar then? And he responded that even looking at the letters has a hashpah, it has an effect on your soul. And I thought it was such a beautiful idea. This guy every day would sit and read the Zohar, and he didn't understand it, but he loved looking at the letters. And this is something that I hope that we can all take to heart as we move into the week. What are the things that we are consuming, these images that we see in our day-to-day lives? What are the things that we're focusing on, looking intently at? Are we taking in things of Kedusha? Are we taking in things that are holy, that are going to be etched on our brain and make us better people? Or are we looking at things that are really not good for us, unkosher, so to speak? That's what I want to focus on. In the sources, they call it shmirat einayim, guarding your eyes. But it's not just blocking your eyes from what you're seeing, it's also filling your gaze with things that are kosher and good. So B'ezrat Hashem, we should all be matzliach, we should all be successful in guarding our eyes and in filling our sight with only good things. Shabbat Shalom.